While Elnora Dotson fell asleep in the bath drawn for her by Ms. Celeste Holman in the big brown house of magazine mogul, Orion Ratliff, she dreamed of all the lies she needed to tell. These lies were to be intermixed with the lies she'd already told, and she needed to keep her story a straight one. Her truth was this: Mrs. Nat's boarding house had always been her home. It was not a particularly beautiful home, nor a particularly cleanly home, but it was hers, and damn did she have trouble giving it up. It wasn't for the love of her tiny room half stuffed with laundry, nor was it for Mrs. Nat's hardened nature. It was for everything and everyone inside of it. Most boarding houses had a laundry service somewhere about the place, and Nat's was no different. The only difference between Nora and the boarders was that she was the launderer. Every few days, if the renters of that house didn't bring their soiled things to her, she brought her service to them. This meant the cost of her own room was lessened significantly. With the tips or the unclaimed coins she snuck from pockets meant that Nora survived. One may wonder why that seems honest enough, but one would be wrong. 1 year and 10 months before her arrival to the city, Nora's mother laid down sick. It was to Nora's own force that her mother went to some big house for people who went red and coughed up blood. The doctors said they'd let her rest and fix her. Cheery, right? To Nora, it seemed simple enough. Her mother got to stay in some distant mansion and have nurses wait on her like a princess. In the meantime, Nora washed, Nora scrubbed, and Nora mended. Why tell Nat? That only sounded like trouble. Old Nat wouldn't know the difference of who washed what anyway. She was a good girl. She kept herself clean and tidy like her mother had taught her. She snuck glasses of milk, or better yet, glasses of cream from Nat's old kitchen. Sure, she was scrawny, but that wasn't something to notice. In fact, when it came to noticing, Elnora Dotson herself noticed that if nobody made much of a fuss, then nobody seemed to pay any attention to anything at all. And that was something, wasn't it? On account of Richie Waldron, she kept up with school the best she could, and that kept prying teachers away. She could figure, read, write. Hell, that was a piece of cherry cake, really. Nora had met Richie Waldron by scrubbing his overalls, and from then, they had been good pals. Richie lived with his big lug father Don, one of the many lumbermen out here. It was old boarding houses for Negro widows with children like Don Waldron, and Nora was happy for Nat's boarding to them. Most houses didn't, though Nat weren't especially egalitarian, but she did like money. Richie was a splendid kid and Nora loved him gratefully. They had great times, those two. Sometimes it felt like a storybook with him, though Richie knew that was all Elnora. The other children considered him queer-like, but she thought the world of him. Summer days staring at the sky, afternoons throwing rocks in the river, evenings plotting the day they'd climb the old mine mountain. Richie always asked about her mama's letters like the sweet kid he was. They were boring until they weren't, but he always asked anyway. And when Nora didn't leave her room to play or go to school for a few days, he knocked and knocked, even called for her through cracks in the door. It helped with the loneliness. They had fun kind of games, like scavenge, where they scavenged the woods and streets for their grand stew, a concoction they planned to make when they found enough in one day. Richie always fished for the grand stew, which they were sure they could make magic with the right herbs. He also never questioned when he saw his friend use their coveted fishing time for a quick wash in the pond, and he never did get angry when the ingredients for their magic stew went missing. It meant less time with his father and more time scavenging with his pal.
Mr. Guthrie has another shiner, almost as bad as the one you got last week from your pop.
You got a letter from your mama lately?
I didn't tell you. My granny came and picked her up, wrote and said she's as plump as a rose. Those nurses did so well.
Granny? I ain't know you had no granny.
Everybody's got a granny somewhere, Richie. Mine lives in a little pearly house near that big mansion they sent Mama to.
Ain't she gonna send for you too? Your granny. Strange that she ain't already.
Well, she is. She is gonna send for me. She just ran out of money, see? And I gotta pay halfway to get there. But I'm strapped, so I suppose I'll just stay.
That's a mite odd. I'm sure she'll send for you soon. That marked the first big lie Elnora ever said out loud, and it was shameful how easy all the other ones came after it. Unless she was asleep, of course. Then the lies kept her real wakeful, like, what about your daddy, Nora?
What about him?
Can't he give you the money?
You think he could, but my daddy's locked up. See, he was a spy for the army during the war and he's still in a German cell. I can't talk about it.
Why don't we make you money?
I don't know.
It can't be too hard.
I said I don't know, Richie.
I'll make you the money then.
Richie? Richard?
Just then, Elnora Dotson loved her little pal, but she also hated him. She couldn't say why she didn't need the money. But if anyone knew about her mother, they'd send her to a place for girls like her. Richie, a child of his word, did help her earn money. It was a trying time, really. He helped her scrub up to free some hours, pulled tips, hoarded found bits in the halls or in the hampers, sold lost items back to their owners, with much discourse about fairness. In the end, after weeks of this unfair game, they had earned Nora $1.38. To them, it was a gold mine. It meant Nora could buy herself a whole set of train tickets. Richie celebrated, and Nora pretended. She didn't know where to go now that she had to, but she knew a name. With her best things packed and a farewell that could mean forever, Elnora Dotson took her very first train to Orion Oliver. Orion Oliver, who took her mother's picture at the Glimmerbrook Fair.